So how do you get from not long now, Tony? We're only a couple of riots away from digital ID to here, come on. And of course, well, we've already demonstrated to the state that we'll queue. But how do you get there? Well, they rebranded the cold and flu, and most people bought that. And well, when they bought it in so many ways. And all this, come on, take that step back. With the title Profiteering from Chaos, looters take advantage of riots to steal wine, phones, Crocs, as they ransack shops in Liverpool, Hull, Manchester, etc., as anarchy sweeps Britain, with police officers hospitalised by thugs and clashes between rival groups. And I just find, wait a minute, right, if they were genuinely protesting, and I'm sure there are those that are of that mindset out there, the last thing they'll be doing is stealing, yeah? That's not why they were there. And then, of course, all the England tops, really? Yeah, I know, I'll just, I'll throw some rocks about, smash various, shops and police cars. Oh, and then I'll pop in for a few bottles of wine and a few other things. And, well, footwear seems to be an issue. So, hey, let's resolve that. See what I mean? Costume on. This is England. I would say there's an awful lot of change agents at these locations. Because who stands to gain? Honestly, the naivety in so many, it's astounding. And what I hear from, shall we say, Twitter as regards the thoughts of some, and they just don't get it. They absolutely don't get it. They don't get who stands to gain. How do you get the zoning of cities, the cashless society, the QR codes? Yeah, and then of course at some stage the chip onto the skin, because we're all global citizens and we're all in this together. And people like myself and others, I'm sure, have been talking for years about, for example, dual roles of buildings that are there in plain sight, who have who could be, or what could be, repurposed for other functions in the matter of hours in some cases, and supermarkets would be one of them. If you were wanting, for example, things have really kicked off, civil unrest, blah, blah, blah. Well, what better way to have control over people than their sources of food? Add to that, just, turn off the lecky and the water and the gas, etc. And yeah, they'll be queuing up to get into trucks and off-ski somewhere else. Look, I've said for years, they didn't build all these Chinese ghost cities for nothing, with very westernized aspects of these things. And yes, some of them are apparently falling apart, but do you think they'd give a fuck and still have you there in no time at all to diffuse a global melting pot, blah, 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 whatever pish they come out with? So don't fucking romanticize this fucking garbage, yeah? With Britain's had enough. Seriously. Historically, it's never, ever, ever ended well. Ever. I just find so much of this suspect. There'll be wall to wall with change agents in these crowds. How many years have I said you're not dealing with 1% of society here? And nobody seems to give a fuck about these interconnected occult underlying groups. One being, for example, the New Age movement, which is wall to wall throughout what's called the third sector. Or, people talk about these NGOs, but they don't actually look, who's running these NGOs? What's the common denominators? Theosophy, humanism, Yeah, spirituality. Various. You are not dealing with 1% of society who's highly motivated religiously in a cult religion to have things kick off to bring in this new world order. And people are playing into their hands because they can't be arse reading. Seriously. And I'll speak to you soon.